I still gotta figure out a way to start these videos. You know what I mean? So that's how we're gonna start this video.
You do like countdown action.
Nah, I'm starting it by saying, like, I don't know how to start it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I feel
like,
you.
I'm gonna name this podcast later type thing. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Nah, I appreciate you being on this joint though, honestly. Like,
Are we on now?
yeah, we going.
Okay.
Easy. That's what I'm saying, right? It's beautiful that way. You know what I mean? When I was putting together this like series or whatever, it's like there are certain people that's like I knew I needed to like get on camera or whatever, just because like I think that they have so much to offer or whatever to the city and everything like that. So I'm honored, I'm humble, and I'm grateful. And I mean that you, a legend, would sit down across from me. You see what I mean?
Man, I'm gonna tell you from the start. I don't look at myself that way, so
That's crazy.
it's awkward, when people talk to me that way.
I feel you
I
on
tell
that.
you, you don't even have to like. We buddies. You know what I mean?
Nah, for sure, but you won't say it, but I will. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
I got
kind of
free
like
will.
the outside looking in, right? So, even if I didn't know like any of like your accomplishments or whatever, and I guess like I'll ask you what those things are. Like just seeing the way that you take pictures is like legendary. You said like if nobody else saw, like if you didn't have like you didn't do work for Soul Classics or Nike and all that type of stuff, if you weren't like out there, it's just like your talent is like of that caliber. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
So,
Man.
yeah, you're really good. How long have you been taking pictures?
I bought like a Canon PowerShot. I want to say like my senior year at Ohio State, which
Yeah.
was in 2011. So that's when I first started kind of just taking pictures for fun here and there, and then I kept at it and started taking more pictures, and instead of taking pictures once a week or once a month, maybe every other day, and then before you know it, it's kind of like an everyday thing or whenever I had free time.
Yeah, and then every day became a lookbook, and
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Right.
So like, I don't know. I guess just for anybody that doesn't know who you are, or whatever, like, just introduce yourself, I guess.
My name is James Drakeford. Most people know me as JD or Mr. King JD. I had that name on the internet since like MySpace days, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like something that stuck with me. And then, easily put, I'm a photographer, and I guess you can also say I'm an event producer. So I do a few different events. Streetwear Flea. I do the Culture Talk event. Then I have do a little bit of party events as well. So photographer, event producer.
What's the party events that you do?
One is Two Truth Wednesdays, so it's like a
yeah.
Wednesday party, weekly party. We'll see how that evolves.
Yeah, I feel that. So, I mean, you left out the fashion and everything too. Like, you honestly like probably one of the most fashionable dudes that like I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
You don't like embrace
fashion is
that?
like, a lot of the stuff that I do is just, things that I'm interested in or things that I enjoy doing. So it's not, I don't, do it so I can, when somebody asks me what I do, I can be like,
Yeah.
oh, I do this. I didn't even really think about that. That's just something I enjoy doing.
So like, I mean, I guess that's news to me and everything. I mean, not saying that like you intentionally do it, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of like probably why you're so.
I mean, if this was like a job interview or something,
Yeah.
maybe I'll throw it in there to try to like, depending on what the job is, to, big myself up in certain aspects.
Yeah.
But just talking, I wouldn't like care to
feel that.
mention it.
Is everyday lookbook like something that you would want to like grow and like make into like an actual like thing, I guess?
Yeah, I kind of taken some steps to do that,
Uh-huh.
just because I see like it having, more potential than kind of like what I originally saw for it.
Yeah.
It started off just being a goofy phrase. Like
Yeah.
I come up with a lot of phrases, a lot of acronyms. Just, I think that's fun in itself. But, kind of like getting dressed and getting fits off every day was just something that I like doing. So I gave it a name, and then So now I had an Instagram for it. Every day's a lookbook, and I have the domain just in case I want to get a website popping off.
Yeah.
It's not trademarked yet, so technically somebody can trademark it, but at the same time, I got the domain and I had the social media, and people know me for it. So it's like people know where it's from.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess to answer your question, I want to make it like a kind of like a styling platform or like a street style platform.
Right. So like you said that you do fashion and everything, like you don't consider it because it's just something that you like to do. Like, I don't know, I guess it's fashion, photography, events, but shoes, that's a big thing for you. So it's like, is that just like, I guess I'm trying to ask, like, what gets you going? Like, what motivates you to get up out of bed?
I think what motivates me to get out of bed, or like what gets me interested in like the fashion stuff?
Nah, just like, what do you like to do? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, every day is a little different, honestly. Some days I wake up and I'm not that motivated, Those are days like, it's rough when you wake up and kind of like, you don't know what you feel like doing. Like, you're not excited to do much of anything. That happens sometimes. But on other days, I wake up and I'm looking forward to putting a fit together. Or I'm looking forward to a photo shoot. Or I'm looking forward to meeting somebody new. I'm looking forward to going to an event. I like to do a lot of different things. So literally, every day's a little bit different, usually.
So let's back up just a little bit. You're from Columbus, or you're a transplant? You're from Dayton. That's right. How'd you get to Columbus?
Or when did you get to Ohio State?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I came to Columbus to attend Ohio State University.
And then you just fell in love here, or?
Yeah, I mean, after I graduated from the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State. This guy.
It was like, either I feel like if you're from Ohio, you usually stay in Columbus unless maybe you get a job opportunity in a larger city, but you usually don't like go back home unless maybe you needed to move back in home, or most people don't like go back home to get a job after they come to Columbus.
Right.
So Columbus was cool, and I had got I think I was working at Soul Classics at the time, so I was comfortable with where I was at when I graduated.
So, like, how did that transition from you working at like Soul Classics into you basically waking up in the morning and getting to decide, what you want to do?
You were saying how did what?
Like, how did that transition, like, from like when you were done with school to like being where you are right now?
I mean, so much has happened since then. Like, we could talk about that for a month, but like, I started off as a sales associate at Soul Classics, and then it's funny because a lot of people kind of first saw my photos through Soul Classics, but when I first started working at Soul Classics, like, Instagram wasn't even popping back then.
Yeah.
Like, we literally, like, I was telling Deontay, like, we got to get an Instagram for the store, like.
Yeah.
And at first, like I said, Instagram wasn't really popping, so it wasn't a priority. So for a while, we didn't have an Instagram, and then Soul Classics got an Instagram, and slowly but surely, I started to take photos for the Instagram, and just kept progressing, and I went from a sales associate to photographer, from photographer to manager, manager to helping out with buying and designing, still doing photography as well. And then, it just got to a point to where, where anybody working with retail knows that, like, you got to put a lot of hours in. So it got to the point to where me putting in, 8+ hours a day at the store wasn't, the best way that I wanted to use my time. So I felt like it was better to kind of step aside from working in store and try to do more with my free time, really.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, when did you make that decision to reclaim your time? If you
I had thought about it for a long time. Honestly, I kind of related to like a breakup or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, say you with a girl and you kind of see like y'all not gonna get married, but you've been with her for like a year or 2 years and you just can't break up with her.
Yeah.
Like, y'all love each other, y'all been together, it's gonna be difficult, and I mean, you might even miss it when you break up, even though you don't see yourselves getting married. So it was kind of like that. It was like I knew it would be a day when I would leave Soul Classics or when I wouldn't work there in the same capacity. And then so I had been thinking about it for a lot of months, and it was like, you know, I kept waiting for the right time. And again, it's like a relationship. There is no right time.
Yeah.
You know, it's never gonna be smooth.
Especially
it's
when you
never
really
gonna be
love
cool. Yeah. So I think it was like mid 2016. I was thinking about it, and then you know I talked to Deontay and told him, you know, like at the end of the year, you know, beginning 2017, I wanted to, you know, kind of break off and do my thing, and he took it a lot better than I thought it would. You know,
Yeah.
He told me like he knew that this day would come, so he prepared himself, and I was like, well, I mean that wasn't so bad, but you know that's the type of guy he is, and yeah. So for all of 2017, I've been freelancing.
Word. So, I guess I didn't know it was that recent. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that's a testament to you and everything, to like the work and everything that you've been doing. Like, what would you say is like some of your highlights? Like, I mean, maybe not even just a soul class. It's just
Yeah.
like in the James Drakeford story. You know?
Yeah. Highlights are tough because I forget about so much stuff that I do. Like I was reminded of so much. What was that? What's today? The 7th. Last week, you know, going into 2018, I did like an end of the year recap type thing, and I was
Yeah.
just going through photos and going through thousands of photos. It was so many moments that like felt like they were 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or just moments that I had completely forgotten
Yeah.
that I enjoyed. So I want to do a better job of like not forgetting, you know, the things that I enjoyed, but when you constantly on the move, it's hard to remember everything. But one of my favorite highlights was like taking pictures of Erykah Badu. Like she's one of my favorite musicians. I've
Wait, you-
listened to her for a long time.
It was like a studio session or
Nah, performance, her birthday in
Oh, okay.
Dallas, Texas.
oh, word.
Yeah, so I was like literally, you know, this close to her, you know, taking pictures. And so I got to see her perform for the first time and take pictures of her at the same time, which was, it was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, how'd that happen? It's just like right place,
It
right time.
was, you know, we had the same birth month. My birthday's in February as well. So I was looking for kind of like something to do for my birthday. And I saw that she had a show, you know, around the same time as my birthday. Luckily, I had a flight voucher. I think it was American Airlines or something. They had did me wrong, so they had to come up off of $200. So I had a $200 flight voucher. The flight to Dallas was like $195, so I'm like, bet.
Yeah.
Free flight.
Easy decision.
And then I had another homie, my homie Alvarez. He knew the people at the bomb factory in Dallas, so I'm like, yo, Alvarez, I'm about to be in Dallas. Like, you think your people can do anything? He set that up for me, so I didn't have to pay for the show. So it was a great trip and a good experience overall.
Nah, that's dope. I mean, it's kind of like you know, that whole saying that it's not about like what you know, it's who you know, and all that type of stuff. It's like, you know the right people, then you can open up any doors. Do you say like a lot of those connections came through Soul Classics, or like from you just being out there taking pictures, or?
You could say from Soul Classics, but at the same time, I think it's mostly from just like, my interactions with people. You know, it could be Soul Classics, but at the same time, you know, everybody that works at Soul Classics doesn't have the same network.
That's
So
facts.
it could be McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? I might even have more connections if I worked at McDonald's because it's more fast paced. You come in contact with so many people. So I try to, you know, whoever I come in contact with, I try to make some type of connection with them, and just not necessarily. It's usually not like business related at all, but you know, I talk to people, see what they're about, ask them questions, answer their questions, and you know, naturally we have a connection after we talk one time at least.
I'm gonna be honest. When I lived in Columbus my whole life, you know what I mean? But when I first, like, saw you or whatever, like, I was like, oh, I can't go talk to him or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to say I thought you was, like, a jerk, not like that. But, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like, not standoff, it's just like, but you go and talk to you. He's probably one of the most friendly people I've ever met in my life. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
So I agree with you when you talk about like the personality, and I mean it's what you said. Other people work at Soul Classics, but
Yeah.
everybody doesn't have the same connection. Like when people come to Columbus, I mean I don't want to say it's like rare air or what. There I go like talking about like your stature again, but there's certain people that like anytime they come through the city, like they stop at certain spots or whatever, and then even at those certain spots, like there's a small collection of people that they always get to like meet and greet and all that
Right.
type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like if you were like talking to somebody about like being one of those people, you know what I mean? What would you say to them? Or would you just say like
Being one of the people that,
like, all right, so you come to Columbus, like for example, right?
Yeah.
Super Chefs. Anybody comes to Columbus, that's one of the places that you have to go. You see what I mean? Soul Classics, that's a place that
Yeah.
everybody goes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So just like being in those like areas, or would you say it's not even important to like try and be one of those people?
I think it's important because, I mean, sometimes people like, they'll ask me like, what's the move or I had a friend that recently told me, he's a creator, but he's not really like known or like his network is pretty small. So he asked me like, how should he build his network in Columbus? So I'm like, you gotta be in certain places. You know what I mean? You gotta be at these events. You gotta go to these neighborhoods, or you have to talk to these people. Just because, I mean, it's multiple ways to do it with the internet. You can't sit back on the computer or on your phone and be seen and kind of come in contact with people. But depending on what type of network you want to have, I prefer an in-person network. So if I see somebody having an event, I'm gonna go to the event versus just talking about it on the internet. So it depends on what you want. But my advice to them was, I gave him like a couple key people, to kind of to look at, because you know how it goes. Like if you know me, Soul Classics, and a lot of other people. If I know you, I know Flypaper. If you know certain people, you're gonna naturally be connected with a lot more people. So that's definitely a good way to kind of get to know new people and kind of to get your name out.
Yeah. It's just like I think that's a real good point. Like, I talk to certain people and they be like, I'm not trying to go out and like talk to people or shake hands and all that because it's fake. And my retort to him was like, it's not fake.
Yeah.
Like touching other people in your community,
Yeah.
like that's called being an active part of your community.
Right.
And like supporting other people and telling, even just spreading the word about it. And I mean, I guess I kind of want to like get your take on this too. I feel like Columbus is a good place to be at right now, like just socially. Like when I go out to events, it doesn't feel like a lot of pretentiousness. It's not a lot of people just stuck up and full of themselves. Like it's just a really good energy up in the air. Everybody's like talking and what I mean, like connecting, collaborating, and trying to figure out ways to build.
Yeah.
Did you agree with that? Or
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Columbus overall and like events and stuff, most people are pretty down to earth, and if they seem like they're not, they usually they might be an introvert, or they don't like to speak first. But if you talk to them, they're not going to be standoffish usually. I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, lately I've been trying to do a better job at like speaking to people first. Like naturally, that's not really my thing. Like I'm more of a sit back, like I don't talk a whole lot. I mean, I'll have conversations with people, but I'm not the type of person that just walk in the room like, "What's up, everybody? I'm so and so."
me neither.
Like that's not my type. But I do realize that, some people, they look at me in a certain way, so they're not gonna speak first, but maybe they will want to have a conversation or they will want to connect. And if I don't kind of initiate it, they might look at it as I never wanted to talk to them, which is not necessarily the case. It was just, maybe I was waiting on them to talk to me, just like they were waiting on me to talk to them. So just not being afraid to kind of take that first step to just say what's up. It's not like I'm saying, what up, let's kick it, I want to be your friend. It's just, what up? We at the same event.
Right.
My name JD. What up? You
Right.
know.
People don't believe me when I tell them I'm an introvert and everything, but like I'm the same way as you. I'd rather go to an event and just be ducked off,
Yeah.
hand in my mouth, like just chilling, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, or drink in my hand and just like, you know what I mean, observing. But I think that that's a real good
Yeah.
point or whatever. It's like, and really that's how you build social capital is by like going out and talking to other people and letting them know that, you know, you have somebody in the city that cares about the fact that you're trying to add stuff to the city. You know what I mean? Even if it's just attendance and all that jazz. I think that that's one thing about you. I'm gonna ask like some of your favorite things to do here, because I see you around all the time, even when it's not something necessarily that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like what type of like events like really like stand out for you?
I mean, I like events where I don't know. It's a tough question because I go to a lot of different kinds of events. I guess I would have to say, I mean, I like a lot of music related events. Not necessarily like just like music shows, but like it could be a party or it could be like a music theme party. I know you recently had the 90s theme party.
2000s or so.
Or 2000s, my bad.
That's
yeah,
cool.
I wanted to go to that, but I was working on some stuff and couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And then you had smoked my taste, so I couldn't make it to that.
Man,
but
listen.
something like that, I enjoy. Like I love being around people and I love music, so events, well, one or the other is good for me. But I like social events. I feel like there's not that many like real social events where you can just like go and kind of talk to people or like hear people talk about things that you're interested in. So those types of events, I like to be around people even if I'm not talking to people.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like I love to go to events. I like people watching. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. I think, I mean, to your point about talking about things, I mean, it was a slight transition. The first culture talk that I went to was at the Art Museum, and not the Art Museum, the Columbus Museum of Art. I was thinking Art of the Republic. But
Yeah.
when I went there, like I think that was the third one you had done? Or fourth one?
The one was that like
Right before Creative Control Fest.
Oh yeah, we had a few. We've done a few before then.
Yeah, and like each time it's like I have wanted to go out to it because I just think that the concept of it is so dope. Like, how did you come up with it?
We came up with the culture talk idea after it was simple. Like I was going through some things personally, and I had a talk with one of my good friends. We just talked on the phone for like 2 hours, and we talked about like each other's lives, like my personal stuff, but then we also talked about, what we had seen on Instagram or Twitter, what was on TV, what was popular within the culture at the time. And, when the conversation was over, when we hung up the phone, it was kind of like I felt better about my situation and what was going on in my life. And I was like, this needs to happen more often.
Yeah.
Not just with me and my friend, but I feel like everybody can relate to this feeling that I got. So I'm like, let me do an event where we put a lot of people in a room and kind of talk about what's going on in our lives. And, when it's more people involved, sometimes people try to make it seem like, oh, well, you just talking in circles and whatnot. But like, not really. Like, you might say something that I never thought about or say something that I need to hear again. So it's like, it's necessary to talk.
Yeah.
So
What type of like subjects like have you talked about the culture talks? Like, cause each one's themed, right?
yeah, we talk about something different each time. We had one where it was about like, being like a young black creative. What's that look like? How you get respect? What type of work do you create? We had one that was probably my favorite one to date. It was called Black Woman and Well. So it was kind of like black women's wellness, but within that we got to hear, I got to hear a lot from different black women about what they enjoy, what they dislike, what they need more of, what they need less of, and just kind of a peek into like what they go through on a daily basis. That was real cool. What else? We did one on kind of like opportunity within, the black community. So, like you said, each one's a little bit different, and it's always good.
You want to like how often do those happen? Is it quarterly or?
Nah, more than quarterly. Try to do something. Most of what was it? Most of 2017, it was kind of like bi-monthly almost. But I try to have them as frequent as possible. I want to have something almost once a month.
And what's the ones that like you want to do in the future that like you haven't done yet? Or is it just like as stuff comes up? You know what I mean? Then
Yeah, I mean, with each event, we usually talk about like current topics. So, regardless of what the theme is, like before we kind of get into things, we might talk about something that's relevant at that moment for a little bit, just to kind of kick things off. But in the future, the next one that I really want to do, like a big one, is gonna be it'll be titled "Who Taught You," and it's gonna be looking at like the relationship between black men and black women, and not necessarily like when I say relationship, not just like romantic relationship, but just the way we look at each other and the way we communicate with each other.
that sounds dope.
You know how it goes. Like a lot of times, like black men and black women, we go against each other, and like culturally, like it's acceptable for us to, kind of put each other down. And I feel like that's a terrible thing, and it doesn't have to be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. So coming together and like correcting some of those issues.
So, you got the culture talks. You have the events, the Two Truths Wednesdays. Like, how did that, materialize?
Two Truths. I mean, that's just a mix of, like I said, I like music, I like social events,
Gotcha,
and I also have bills to pay. So it's like, what else can I do besides photography and the regular events to kind of generate money? It's like, people have been telling me I should do parties for years because I know a lot of people. But that's never really been something that I wanted to do, so I just didn't do it. But now it was like, okay, people have been telling me I need to do something like this for years. It's like, let me go ahead and try it. Why not? And make a little bit of change on the side. So, I knew some people at Two Truths, and I knew they were, they're pretty new bar, so they're not, a lot of like established bars, it's hard to get into them because they feel like, they don't really need anybody. Or if they do, you can't really work out a good deal with them because, they feel like you need them more than they need you. So I wanted to find somewhere where it was more mutual, that like, let's do this together type thing.
How did you like approach them? Like in the first place? I guess you kind of just said like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have a friend my friend Derek, he runs the kitchen. So I had Derek link me with the bar manager, and we talked to the owner and kind of worked out an event plan.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know, I guess, like, you hear things, for me, like, because I'm in a similar space as far as, like, just being able to go and create, what I want to do. Like, like Orange Soda, for example. I just wanted to have a party or whatever where people didn't stand around and look at each other.
Right.
And we could listen to music that, like, reminded me of my childhood, growing up. And so I was going to do it in the basement of my apartment, but it just, go ahead. It just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
So I linked with Burn and, yada, yada, yada. We went out and we just, like, made it happen. And that's kind of like with everything that we're doing right now. It's just like going out and making it happen. But I guess because you're a little bit more established than even I am or whatever. So it's like for people that are going to work 9 to 5 that had those 8 hours, and it's like, I feel like this is the best use of my time. Like, like how would you, recommend to them that they, saying like get out and start to like chase their dreams and stuff?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. That's why I never, like, people that never have time, they always kind of bother me. Like, I don't get along with people that, like, always act like they're busy. Because, I mean, I've been busy before, and I still have free time to do things.
Right.
So it's like people that act like they just don't have time to do anything, it bothers me. And I'm not around those people too much. So, like, an average job, you know, if you full time 5 days a week, 8 hours. Of course, some people work overtime, but usually, I mean, some people work multiple jobs. You know, if you work multiple jobs, a full time job, a part time job, you have kids or something like that. You know, your life is pretty busy. I can't bicker with you there, but
Yeah.
like, even then though, there's still, you know, some free time or things that maybe you could take kids to. But people without kids or without multiple jobs, like, you know, you usually have 2 days off from every week. You know, what are you doing with those 2 days off? Or when you leave work, are you going home and watching TV or are you making a move? You know, we all have options. I feel like we usually have the time that we need. You know, it's more so about energy or commitment. You know what I mean? Like, we have the time, but, you know, do you have the energy or are you committed enough to do whatever it is you want to do with your free time?
That's good right there. Because, I mean, I think that you're right. It's not about needing more time. It's just about being a better, like, stalwart of your time.
Because I know I have free time. It's like, I'll have time to do something, but then it's like, I just want to sit here. I want to watch a movie. Like,
Yeah.
I want to relax. And we need to relax sometimes. But also, sometimes we got to check ourselves and push through or do what we say we want to do.
That's real. Like, for me, my relaxation is, like, playing Madden. You know what I mean? Sitting down and, like, getting a couple games in, like, a
So you make
franchise
sure
mode.
you play every now and then, right?
Yeah, I have to. It's for my own, like, mental health
Yeah.
and everything. Like, if I don't unplug and do something that's mindless or that isn't, like, for work, then it's like when I'm doing that, like, I enjoy and it's fun for me, like, it becomes not fun for me because it's like I
Right.
don't never turn it off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I completely agree with you with that. Would you, like, most rather be known for event planning, for, you know, these culture series that you're doing, for your photography? Like, I guess, what's your vision? How do you, like, see yourself? Your fashion?
I don't know. I feel like if I had to choose one, I would say maybe the culture talk, just because that's something that, I mean, photography as well. Like, it depends on your perspective, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that people know, like, you know, it's always beyond like what you see. It's like it's not just a picture, you know, it's the idea behind the picture, or it's the person that's in the picture, or it's not like, that's what I like about the culture talk. It's like, it's an event where people actually get to connect with other people and, like, learn from each other. And I know, like, growing up, there were different people, like, in the community that really, you know, helped me become who I am, or, like, helped me, you know, become successful or get through high school or college. And having things that people can look to for inspiration in their lives is, like, I feel like that's most important. You know, it's not just like the stuff that looks cool. You know, after it looks cool, like, what does it do? You know, that's not really what's important. And sometimes people, I think, you know, they see things that look like it was cool and they feel like that's the highlight, but it's not, you know. So, but what I want people to look at me for, I don't know, just beyond surface. Basically beyond surface, whether it's photography that you inspired by or an event that I do, just, you know, look at me for something other than just what you see, I guess.
Yeah.
If that could be done. Yeah.
Do you, I mean, you like living here in Columbus?
Yeah, I
You
like
You
Columbus.
want to leave?
Columbus is solid. I think about leaving a lot just for, you know, additional opportunities, like, you know, more creative stuff, or because, like, Columbus creative culture is getting better, and it's decent. Like, I feel like it's one of the best, as far as opportunity goes. It's one of the best places to live in Ohio for sure. But at the same time, of course, it's not New York, it's not LA. I feel like I could thrive in either of those places, but, you know, I'm in Columbus for a lot of reasons. You know, my family's here. I got a lot of friends here. My network is here. And, of course, you know, I'm comfortable here, so it's hard to just kind of up and leave. But,
Yeah.
you know, I think about moving to other cities where there is more creative opportunity.
you know, I love Columbus. And everybody knows I love Columbus by this point. I be thinking about, you know, dual residence, you know what I'm saying? Like, about being in Columbus, you know, 80% of the time, and then, like, 20% of the time being in other places
Yeah.
and whatnot. So, I mean, like, the way that society's set up now, you can really do whatever you want to, like, create your own journey, if you will. You know what I mean? So, I was asking you, like, how you felt about Columbus, because I got a couple, like, questions or whatever, just, like, on the spot questions about to put you through or whatever. So,
You think before can I go back to one of the
yeah.
what I was saying? So I'm always thinking like after I say stuff. So
Nah, it's cool. Go ahead.
just to clarify, like when I say I want people to look at me for like beyond what they see, basically say if I wear an outfit, it's fresh or whatever, or I enjoy the outfit. Don't look at me for, you know, the clothing that I'm wearing. It's the idea that like I enjoy putting that fit on that day. Like I enjoy those colors that day. Or you look at a picture and it's like he enjoyed himself or he was inspired by something for this outfit. Not just the outfit like, oh, he had on some expensive shoes or oh, he had on some rare shoes. Like that's not what's important. What's important is, you know, the inspiration behind me wearing them or me enjoying putting them on type thing.
I'm glad that you clarified that. I mean, not saying what you said didn't make sense, because it did, but like that just triggered something in my head. Like, for example, when I be tweeting or whatever, it's like, you know, don't look at the fact that I might have just tweeted a whole bunch of stuff or whatever. Instead, like it's like, you know, what was he doing that like made him like even like put that thought and inspiration inside of his head? You know what I mean? Or like talking about music or whatever, like, you know, how it makes you like look at things differently. That's like, what about that song made you like, you know, have that reflection? So I think that's really good, actually.
But anyway, back to your Columbus questions.
Nah, it's not just Columbus. It's just like some rapid fire. You've been here in Columbus a long time or whatever, so I just want to get, you know, some keys to the culture from JD through your lens, if you will. So just, you know, a couple top 3 question categories and whatnot. You know what I mean? So first one is your top 3 places to take somebody on a date.
I don't know if I can give away my date secrets. That's what make them feel special. I can't let them know my date secrets.
Okay, so
Because if I tell you my date secret, then that means I can't take somebody there.
you're right. That's the reason why I was putting you on the spot
I'm not
over
gonna
there.
respect
But
anymore.
what if it's not?
I'll say the Pearl though. I like the Pearl a lot.
Not a romantic date, maybe just like a friend date. You see what I'm saying? Or like your friends in town, you need to go and take them someplace in the city. Where's the 3 places you're going?
Well, I like to take people to Super Chefs because I mean, the menu is crazy. So you're gonna get that wow. But then I can also tell them like I got pictures up in the wall. You know, I'll be like, you know, I took that picture.
You got pictures up in the wall in Super Chefs?
Yeah, I did all the photography in Super Chef, so being able to like show people that and give them a good meal at the same time is pretty cool. The Pearl, like I said, I like the Pearl a lot. Good food. I'm pretty cool with a lot of the employees, so they're good people too. Maybe North Market, because you know you have all the options in North Market. So
See, you're the second person I asked like about these dates and everything. Everybody always talk about food spots. You know what I mean? I guess that's what you do when you take somebody out. But I don't know.
yeah.
What about like restaurants? Or is that the secrets
Well,
that you can't give out?
Okay, since if we not hungry or she already ate or
Yeah, she already ate.
I guess you say it's not romantic, so I mean I don't go no homie dates, but I guess we talking about a young lady and she already ate or whatever. I like to do stuff like I'm a big company person, so I don't have to do anything special to like enjoy myself. So we might just go to an area we never been before. It might be a park, it might be a neighborhood. I like to walk around like neighborhoods I've never been in. Like I got a studio in Franklinton.
Okay.
So I like to explore Franklinton and be on the west side, just walk up and down the blocks, kind of see the neighborhood people. So like, I like to do that a lot by myself, and to have somebody with me, it's even better.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about what we see, and it sounds random, but it's like it's cool. It's like if you going to a neighborhood you never been to, and it's way different from downtown or your own neighborhood. It's like a little vacation or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Top 3 most photogenic places in the city.
Honestly, I don't really get excited about any places in the city anymore, like visually.
Because you seen them
So
all?
it's tough, yeah. Most people will say the short north, cause that's like the busiest or like the the most artsy area in Columbus.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, I've been shooting in the short north for a few years, so it doesn't really excite me anymore. But I like Franklinton a lot because, like I said, it's not like any other part of Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
So visually, it's pretty stimulating because it's different. I like Cleveland Ave too. Like Cleveland Ave, that's a long
Like-
street that changes a lot. Like
Oh,
all the
okay.
way from downtown all the way up north to 161 or beyond. So it's like just being on Cleveland Ave, you get to see a lot of different lifestyles, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think Cleveland Ave going from the bottom to the top of it is the most drastic change that you'll
Yeah.
probably find in Columbus. Yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. Maybe Main Street.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the way out here, Reynoldsburg.
Yeah, Main Street's cool. Like, I don't know, I'm not that good on like my directions, but I think like if you go from downtown and you go Main Street, you going south, right or no?
Nah, you going, wait, from downtown to Main Street? Like, that's east and west. Cleveland Ave, that's north and south.
But then I feel like, okay, so say like, dang, Livingston and
Yeah, Livingston, they go east and west.
so I guess that would be east. Yeah, east side is cool too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a south side type guy. You know what I'm saying? East side. Yeah, I went to Capitol, so yeah, I don't know. I like downtown the most, like the near east and
Yeah.
like Old Town East and Driving Park. Like that's like my favorite part of the city. But I digress. A fashion guy and everything. There's top 3 places for you to go, like for if you're trying to find a fit.
Gotta say Soul Classics for like streetwear and sneakers for sure. Soul Classics. Lately I've been into a lot of like vintage apparel. So go to Smarty Pants Vintage. That's like right by Soul Classics as well on High Street in Short North.
I've never been there before.
And maybe Artisan Deluxe. They have a pretty good selection in there.
Where's that?
That's on High Street, Short North as well. They have a good selection, good quality pieces, men's wear and women's wear.
Word. I might have to go there too. I had never heard of neither one of those last two. So, and the last question is like, photography wise, like, who's your 3 favorite photographers in the city besides yourself?
That's an interesting question.
If you don't name somebody, it don't mean that you don't like them.
I don't dislike any photographer. That's for sure. But
I feel like you
I
said
try
something
not
about
to-
my photography once. You said,
I mean, luckily you're not a photographer. But your photography is trash. But if you were actual photographer, I wouldn't put you down like that. But
that's crazy.
nah, but I mean, I don't dislike any photographers, but honestly, I don't follow that many people's work closely, just because, it's real easy to get inspired by other photographers, and I would rather not have my work like, consciously or subconsciously like, mimic somebody else's style.
That makes sense.
And it's just, I'm a real competitive person, so sometimes it might get in my head if I'm constantly seeing what other people are doing, and it just kind of
It's not healthy.
derails me a little bit. So I would rather just kind of stay in my own lane and do my thing. But I like Wise a lot. Wise Art. I met her as a mentor when she was I think she went to Reynoldsburg, and I think it was Reynoldsburg. But then I met her when she was I don't know how long she had been taking photography, but she was telling me that she was interested in it, and to see her progression, and then just to know her personally, and like where her heart is, I really appreciate her photography. And besides her, I would probably say, Kenny with K Visuals is real good. He's creative, and Zane over at he's a photographer from Madison, but I know he's not from Columbus, but he's been in Columbus for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Zane. I know Kenny.
Zane, like I think his last name's Osler. I don't know if I'm pronouncing.
Oh
it correctly,
yeah, he shoots the
good.
Polaroids, right?
Nah, I think you talking to like I know Big Man Japan.
Nah, I think that's what. Yeah.
He's really good too. I mean, there's a lot of great photographers, honestly. So.
Right. Shit. So I don't know. I guess last question I got for you, man, is just like, if there's one thing that you want like people to like take away besides the go deep. I guess you kind of already answered the question, so you got to find another answer. You know what I mean?
Go deep.
Yeah, like there's something deeper than just the surface level. If there's one thing that you want somebody to take away from you, like one thing that like they just need to like apply to their life or whatever, what would you say it was?
Kind of like, find some way to enjoy yourself. I feel like that's like the biggest thing. Like if no matter what you do, no matter what goals you have, like if you're not enjoying yourself, then it's like, what's your life really like? Like if you can't enjoy your life, what is a life that you can't enjoy in some type of way? And that enjoyment, it doesn't have to be what somebody else says it is, or it doesn't have to look like what somebody else said it should look like. But in your heart, enjoy yourself. Find something that you enjoy. Obviously we can't have fun or we can't do the things we want to do all the time, but that should be a goal. Like find a way to enjoy yourself.
That's real dope. I didn't know where you was gonna go with that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I mean that's what I try to do. Like if I can't enjoy myself, then what's the point in doing it? It might be to make money, to pay a bill because I have to, or it might be for somebody else. Maybe I have to do something that I don't like doing, but it might benefit you. You know what I mean? So that's still good.
I mean, that's enjoying yourself too, though, right? In a way.
It could be.
Well, I guess
or it could just be a sacrifice.
Yeah, true.
It depends, but still, regardless of what we have to do, find something that you just enjoy doing.
One thing my dad said back before he passed is like, everything counts, so count everything. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. But shit, I don't really got no way to end, these videos or whatnot. So we just gonna end it the same way that we started and everything. I appreciate you, sitting down with me and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? It's not many days that you get to sit across from a legend.
No, don't
you
start
see
that.
What I mean?
Don't start that.
And you gave me a lot to think about too, like especially with the, going deeper. Because I know I do it for myself, but like thinking that other people are also being intentional as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
For sure.
Word.
Baby, come ride with me. Better yet, come fly with me. Won't you go